Okay, so now we're going to do a walkthrough, but not a club walkthrough. We did it on another video. The one thing we didn't cover is picking up the plates and the dumbbells. So I want to go over that today with you. So we're going to start off in the hammer strength. Now there's actually a format to this, and there's a reason for it. We want it to be as convenient for the member in the weights as it is walking through a nice clean gym. So let me kind of show you how this is laid out. Now, believe it or not, there's over 30,000 pounds of plate weights, but you wouldn't know that because there's so much equipment, it's spread out so much. So because of that, a lot of these machines will have trees on the actual machine, so you can unload it from the machine on to actually do the lift. And so where I want to have 4 plates on every one of them, I don't have enough to do 4 plates on every one. So what I've done is I put the ones I know they're going to go the heaviest on is the ones that can have the more plates. So like this from here in the hammer. This one, the leg press, and the true squat are going to have 4 plates on each side on the trees on the machine. Okay. When you walk around here, when you get to the calf raise, it's going to have 3 plates on the trees. When you get to this flat horizontal bench, you're going to have 3 plates. When you get to the regular flat hammer, you're going to have 3 plates. This one doesn't have a tree, so this one right here does. This decline is going to have 3 plates on the tree. Now someone's using it right now, but it'll have 3 plates on each side. This pull down is going to have 2 on each side, and then this roll is going to have 2 on each side. So that's where your 45s go in here. Now when you get to these trees, there's 3 trees. These are going to match all the way down. The only difference is on the 2 ends, you're going to have 2 2.5 plates on both ends. Other than that, it's going to all match. You'll have 4 5s. You'll have 3 10s on the front. You'll have 2 25s on both sides in the back. And you'll have 2 35s on both sides on the bottom. So these again match. You can see where they match. Sometimes someone will come in here like write this off. Now it doesn't look like a big deal here, but I'm just going to balance it back out. That way it stays nice and neat through the day. So again, right here, someone's using those. He just took them off, so we don't have to worry about that right now. Now one thing you want to think about, a lot of people think it's our job to pick up. It's not really our job to pick up unless someone leaves it and we didn't see it. Our job is to kind of watch people when they're lifting and ask them to make sure they put up when they get done. Because of that, sometimes you can have some people that get a little upset. So we want to make sure if someone's using it, not to unload immediately if they walk off or tell them to unload immediately. We just want to watch them. If they walk away and don't come back, we want to remind them, hey, you through using that? If you don't mind, can you please put it up? Most people are very kind when you do that. Some people will give you a fit. In that case, you come get me and I'll take care of that problem. Now we're going to go back here in the free weight area. So again, you got to remember, if you're new here, it looks like a lot to pick up, but there's just a couple, basically about 4 sequences you got to remember. I'm going to show you how I start off. So when I come in here, the other video demonstrated how we put the bars up, so you already know how the bars go. So again, remember, we're just doing plate weights and dumbbells. So in here, what I typically do is I always will go to this side first. The reason why I do this side first, people who are walking through this area, like women going to classes, we want this area to be the nicest at all times. The benches put up, the walkway open. This other stuff can come second. If I get busy and a tour comes in, I have to walk off. So again, I'm going to make sure, like I did on the other video, having the bars out of the way. But then when it comes to putting the plates up, these are 2 Smith's machines. They're identical. So the way you'll load them up is you'll have 3 25s, 3 35s, 3 45s on both sides. The King just picked up everything a while ago, so it's pretty neat still, but you'll see a couple of things. I always tighten these weights up. Like if I see something like this, I'm going to come in here and press it. And like where he's putting that up right now, he just put that back on to match the side. So typically, again, you have 3 3 3. Inside, you're going to have 4 of the 5s, 2 2.5s, and 2 10s on both sides. And so all you'll do is match the other Smith machine, and then both Smith machines match. Now, when I come over here to the benches, the only difference in all these benches, this is kind of what I call my master bench. Everything's going to be just like this bench. I'm going to have 2 35s on both ends. I'm going to have 4 5s, 2 2.5s, and on this side I'm going to have 3 25s, 3 10s, and I'll have 3 45s on each side. Now when you look at all these benches right here, they're going to all match this bench except for the incline. You'll have an incline here on this end. You'll have an incline on that very far end. And then right here you're going to have a decline. So the only difference on these is instead of having 3 45s on each end, is you'll have 2 45s. That's the only difference. So everything else is going to match. So now that we've done the Smith machines and the benches, we're going to come over here to the squat rack. Now on the squat rack, what you're going to try to do on this side, you have 2 squat racks side by side. So what you're going to do on each end, you'll have 3 45s, 3 35s, 3 25, 2 10s, 4 5s, and 1 2.5 on both sides. So it'll match. This squat machine will be the exact same setup, okay? Then we're going to go over here, and we'll come back to this rack in a second. We're going to go to this squat rack. One thing too, when you're picking up weights, you want the barbells to be on all the benches. That way they don't have to carry them over here. So when it's laid like this, I'm just going to put it back up here. And on this squat rack, it's a little different. This walking squat rack is a little bit different than the other two I just showed you. You're still going to have 3 45s. You'll have 3 35s on this side versus what you had over here. It's a little bit different setup because where you have your 25 and your 10s, you're going to have 2 2.5s on this side because you're going to have the 5s on that side just because the rack's built different. When you're picking up weights back here, the reason why we had this board here is when people are racking the weights, like right now it's already done it again, it's real tight against it because when they're racking it, they're usually putting their weight up here and it's getting that thing to where it goes toward the mirror. So you see how that board is? Watch what I do right here. I'm going to grab this right here, pull out until that board falls. That way I've got it spaced out so those weights don't hit that mirror, okay? Once I get that done, I'm going to go over here to this rack here. This rack is pretty simple. You see these 100-pound plates? You're going to have 2 on each side on both of these racks on the bottom. Up here, you're going to have 4 10s on both sides on this rack. You'll have 4 5s. You're going to have 2 2.5s. And you have 2 35s on each side. This rack's a little bit different. Here's why. When I ordered these weights, they had 3 plates that came in odd. I had an extra 35 you see here. I had an extra 5 and an extra 2.5. So instead of just putting it up, I just store all that oddball stuff on this one rack, okay? Now we're going to go over here to this weight rack. On this weight rack, you're going to have 2 45s on both sides, 2 35s on both sides, 2 2.5s, 4 5s on this side, and you'll have 4 10s here, and you'll have 4 25s here. Now these leg presses, the way they're set up, all of these are going to have 3 45. Now this one's got one missing, so it's over here, so I'm just going to get it now since we're doing this. I'm going to put it back over here while I'm showing this, so I'll get it back where it goes. So what you'll have is again 3 45 on both sides, and the end caps here are in. Yeah, you're going to have 2 35s inside. Now sometime when that thing moved, it's just because that's loose. I'm going to pull this out a little bit so it gives them room to get that off. So now we're going to match it here. We look good here. We got our 3 45s or 35s in the middle. Down here on this hack squat's a little different. You're going to have hundreds on here. So I call these the old school 100. They don't have the handles like the other ones do. They're solid, so you're going to have 3 100s on both sides, and you'll have your 35s inside again. Down here, you're going to have, again, back to your 3 45s and your 35s. And that's all set up how these weights are going to go. Now, dumbbells, all this is just common sense. They're going to start off in your racks, go 5, 10, and on, and all you're doing is following the numbers on the rack. So a lot of times people will get the dumbbells, get them out of order, so it's our job, if they do, to come in here and get everything back in order around the entirety. There's 3 sets of dumbbells. One set goes up from 5 to 150. The other 2 sets go to 5 to 100. And so just kind of remember, you're always trying to keep it up. Remember, it's not our job to pick up behind people unless they leave it, and then we're to pick it up. So we want to try to catch people when they're using it and make sure they get in the habit of putting their stuff up. And that pretty well shows you the layout in here, how the weights go. One last thing when you're picking up the weights and the dressing room. In the dressing room, you have a sign-off sheet just like out here in the free weight area. So out here by the break room is the free weight sign-off sheet. It talks about us picking up. Look how this thing works. If it's Monday, it's going to show you 5 a.m., 5:30, 6, 6:30, 7, 7:30. It just goes all the way up until we close. Now we're not open staffed all those hours, so you're just going by the hour. To give you an example right here. If I come in here on Monday morning and I'm fixing to make a walkthrough, I'm trying to hurry up and do it, I'll look on here before I make it through. If I see where Daniel signed off, I shouldn't have to make a walkthrough because he just did. Same thing in the dressing room. Same type of sheets in there for the dressing room. If you walk in there and someone's already signed off, you shouldn't have to. Just remember this, don't sign off on these sheets if you did not make the walkthrough. And don't forget to sign off if you did, because a lot of times we're in a hurry. We don't want to go back around and find out that somebody already just did it. Remember, use these sign-off sheets and don't forget to use them.